So the first one's being linked in Alliance. It's a First Steps to FC video um, that you can take a look at. It'll teach you how to use navigation tools to move your fleet and pre-plan your content and your operations, as well as different ways to then generate that content and make sure that it actually gets going on your fleet. We'll leave that there for now. Make sure you save that, save it to your YouTube playlist. Watch it at some point if you haven't seen it. And what I want to do first is just open it up for questions. I'm assuming that you guys came here because you're interested in the topic, and I want to know if there's any thing that keeps you guys from pinging, or that you find is a challenge that makes you second guess trying to do a roam or a fleet or hop into an engagement. So the floor is open for some questions on that right now.
Having
Anybody?
Thera cooperate would be great.
Say what now?
Having Thera cooperate would be great.
How to Thera?
I mean, so like, say you want to go on a roam from Quirius to Vale. If Thera isn't working out and there isn't a hole within the next 20 jumps, what's the best way to get there?
Okay, cool. Let me load up Twitch real quick. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna show you. Do you know about eScout?
I've heard of it, but they got rid of the map, so I'm looking through SMT right now.
Okay, first thing I'm gonna show you is this. So your navigation. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Okay, so your navigation starts with. Hold on, let me pull this up. I'm gonna link this website in Alliance, guys. So go ahead and put this as a bookmark in Alliance. I mean, in your browser. Eve Scout Thera. So the first thing you start to do, right, is work this website, right? Because not everybody has SMT, and this is also another way to verify your SMT information, right? Because sometimes SMT can lag. So you pull up this website, and at the top you have buttons, right? So if you're looking at Thera, you'll be on a Thera button, and it'll show you all the connections, all the Thera connections in the game, right? So before you even set out, what you can do on this is you can, from this website, Eve Scout, you can see the systems where it all connects at, right? And then you can also see the size, type and size, which is important information. And it's going by emblems like freighter, like that's a large, like really large one. You know, that's just a very large XL. So you know the size type, and then you have the lifetime, less than 17 hours, end of life, things like that. Once you start getting close to 5 hours, you start kind of saying, okay, I need to get in there now. And if you want to come back through that route, you need to get in there now and go fast and get back quick. So my cutoff is like 5 hours for like knowing I need to be careful, right? So your second option, which is actually not on ST, is Turner, which is low sec Thera. And you can use a low sec Thera. It has the SIGs, tells you the actual SIGs of the wormholes to also navigate New Eden as a secondary if your Thera isn't close, right? And your specific question was about what to do if your connection is not close, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing you can do is, so like I said, I showed you how to find the Theras, and then there's the Turner option that you can use to navigate. Another thing you can do is Zarzak. So on your SMT, since you're saying you have it, go up to the top left and there's Yasana Zak, right?
Yep.
Double click that. All right, boom. Zoom in, turn this bull crap off. All right, so from Zarzak, you can connect to Venal, Placid, Metropolis, and Curse. So from Zarzak, you can get straight to Turner, where the Turner wormholes are, as well as these other regions, right? And in particular, HPAW is pretty important. I'm assuming you're thinking about pinging content for Brave, right?
Yeah.
All right, so if you double-click HPAW, look where you come out. HPAW, 1, 2, 3, QCAP, 4 jumps into tribute. Look at these deltas. And we got deltas, right? Coming to QCAP, 1, 2 jumps. You're in Veil of the Silent. Bam.
Okay, dumb
deltas.
Question. How do you see deltas?
Okay, at the bottom right of your screen, right there.
Gotcha.
Now you can see deltas, you can see pod kills, you can see jump activity. So the pod kills can let you hunt a fight. Say there's a big fight going on at one point and you have a big bloom of pod kills. Your goal might be to come hunt this pocket, try to catch stragglers, things like that. You can also gate camp with this indicator, the jump gate activity, and you might decide, okay, well, damn, QCAB's getting a lot of action. All right, we're gonna camp this pocket right here. We're gonna set up some bubble camps along this pocket, kill everything that comes through. And if you want to be more critical about your intel, you can right-click System in SMT, Z kill board. Now I instantly got the QCAB Z kill for the entire system today. This is what has died and this is when it's died. So I can at a glance get a quick look at what's going on inside the system I'm hunting, right? Now, hold on. So other than that, so you got Zarzak, you got Turner, you got Thera, right? There's two more. One's kind of secretive, hard to get into. It's called Drifters, which I want to go over that. But the other one is Pochfin filaments. Do you know about Pochfin?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, so you can use Pochfin filaments to basically land your fleet anywhere for the most part, in New Eden you want. And if you've already been using that, then just take your correct entrance Pochfin filament, and then your correct, like say glorification filament or whatever filament you need to get out to where you want to go. And there's a triangle. Hold on. Now maybe I'll link this. Oh, I don't want to dox myself. Damn. Hold on. Let me move this over.
Yeah, if it's just a link, you can drop it in like Dojo later or something.
I just gotta grab it first. I don't know if you've seen the triangle.
Uh, I know a website that shows you the systems and whatnot, but I don't know if there's anything in game.
Yeah, hold on. There's a quick little triangle you can use. I think this is a link that'll work. Yeah, and that you see that folder he just linked?
Yeah.
That's the Eve Scout Thera folder. So if you don't have that yet, you need to go ahead and offline that and keep it. That's how you navigate Thera. So this right here, can you see that picture? Did you click that link?
Yeah, I got it. It works.
All right, so this is the triangle of Pochfin, right? And it shows you the different areas you can go to filament out into the different types of space, right? So you got Mimitar, Mar, Galente, Caldari space, right? And you got these different filaments you can use if you go to the correct collection of systems in Pochfin and use the right filaments. You can land in this desired New Eden's proper space that you want and get your fleet close to content, right? Which that's a little complex. We probably won't go over all that today, right? Does that kind of answer your question on that?
Yep.
Okay,
I think
okay.
general shortcut is if you want to get to Jita, do border and then proximity, and then you'll get about there.
Yeah, exactly. And you can use that triangle for your proximity filaments to get out to the different sections of New Eden you want to get to, right? Don't underestimate Zarzak, because you got to realize too. So HPAW, once you get to HPAW and Tribute, you have access basically to all of frat space, and like 20 jumps in the hole doesn't close because it's not a wormhole. Like you rapidly can get once you get into Tribute, you can rapidly hunt Veil and Tribute back and forth for hours. It's easy. You know what I mean? Okay, so anybody else? This is about any type of fleet stuff. We got Iron Wolf here. He's a very experienced Strat level FC for years.
Mike, can I just add something to what you
Yeah,
just
go
went
ahead.
over?
Go ahead. Yeah.
One other thing I like to do to find Thera holes and connections is open up the Brave wormhole bookmarks, because you might have a direct wormhole to high or low sec closer to one of the other Thera spots. That's something else you want to consider too.
Is there?
It's like
Share that.
if you go to locations and open
Mm-hmm.
up the Brave wormhole bookmarks in a group window, you can see the last dozens or so wormholes in Curious or Delve, and it'll tell you where it goes. So that's another
Nice.
resource. That's another resource that you can use to say, hey, this direct wormhole was a high sec. This high sec is very close to a Thera connection.
Okay.
That's helpful to me as well.
Now, where exactly is that so I can show these guys on the screen? Because I actually don't know about that.
So go to Brave temporary bookmarks, and there's a wormhole shared folder with.
Oh, yeah, this one right here. Right? Wormholes.
Yeah, open that up in a group window.
Something like that.
No, right mouse click on it and say open up in group window or new group window.
There we go, yeah. Oh, look at that, guys. We're all learning. So this is what he's talking about. So it's in the locations. Go ahead.
You can see any direct high sec or low sec wormholes and take advantage of that to get closer to a Thera or Turner jump in.
So you understand that? Like, see these wormholes right here, Corsair. I'm sorry if I messed your name up. It's like
No, you're good.
low sec, KQF to that place, to that place, to that place. That's pretty cool.
I mean, once you find the current Thera, you can go here and see if there's any close direct wormholes.
So I'm 3 jumps away. Like I just set Desto. I'm 3 jumps away from this possible connection right here. And then you bring up your map and see if this gets you any closer to that Thera hole you're actually trying to get, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's all
All
I'm
right.
contributing.
That's fine. All right. Any more questions, guys? Come on. Now's your chance to shake off whatever's keeping you from pinging, right?
All right. Drifter holes.
Whew. Oh man. All right. Okay.
If it's a lot, then any reading materials would be appreciated too.
Well, I'm not set up. I can speak on it, right? I just don't like teaching it. I'm recording, but fuck it, I'll teach it. It's because Frat and Horde are kind of bad at using them. But anyway, so a drifter hole is a hole, a system, part of space that belongs to the drifters, right? You also will see Artesian lancers around there, and they're dangerous because drifters will spawn on the holes and they can kill entire fleets. They're pretty OP. You don't want to engage them ever, really. But these holes every single day have about two sets of connections. They're on 12-hour periods, so they change and shift every 12 hours. And within the drifter system, once you take a drifter hole, there will be 100 or more signatures in there that link to places all over New Eden. For example, in our space, you see on SMT for the SMT users, and whoever doesn't know what SMT is, watch the video I linked in Alliance, the first steps to FC by me. Watch that video, and it'll teach you about SMT. But if we zoom in on SMT, everywhere you see this symbol on SMT is a drifter. Those are drifter systems where drifter holes will exist. They won't exist every single day at all times, but they have the potential to exist. And everywhere there's an existing drifter hole can connect to anywhere in New Eden. Say Outer Ring, we can connect there.
So do you just motor around those systems until you see something?
Nope. So this reason why I don't teach it. The process is extremely complicated in actually procuring drifter maps, right? But I will say this: do not warp directly to drifter holes. You have to set up a certain tack far off of the grid, and then warp down to the drifter hole with a default warp setting of 86,000 meters, 86 kilometers, right? If you do it that way, you'll land at 0 on the hole, and we'll be able to take a drifter hole even if there's drifters on the hole. And when you're running from enemy fleets, it's funny, you'll see this sometimes. They'll try to chase you. They'll warp to the drifter hole and get killed by drifters while you land at 0 on the hole. But the process of using drifter holes, go ahead, Iron.
Drifters will follow you through the hole.
No, well, when they go through the hole, they're not there though. It's just animation. Drifters, you're always safe on the inside of the drifter system. The only danger inside of a drifter inside of the drifter land, whatever you want to call it, world, is PvP pilots, other pilots that may happen to land where you land, which is very rare. Now the drifters, now when you're on a drifter hole and say you're trying to get through, like when you take a drifter hole, the first thing you do is you hold your cloak if drifters are there, and you watch the drifters. They should be burning in towards the hole. You want them to burn all the way into the hole and take the hole. Don't worry though, they won't show up on the other side. If your cloak runs out before that happens, you need to warp off immediately, and you need to be sub 4-second align time, and you'll be able to get off safely. That because you don't want to aggress the drifters, because the drifters will chase anything on grid at very high speed and will burn way off the hole. You want them to stay as close to the hole as possible, if that makes sense. Which I'm not set up to teach that, but you asked. The basic thing is if you want to get into drifters and brave, what you're going to have to do is start pinging fleets and pumping out content. Get trusted as someone who's doing that, and then me and other people can get that door open for you, where you get access to actually all the tools you need to use the drifter holes, because it's kind of strategic too. Like it's you can do a lot of damage if you know how to use drifter holes.
Gotcha. Probably stick to there and whatnot for now.
Yeah. And ping fleets. Get those fleets out, and then I'll personally vouch for you and get you set up for the drifters, right?
Sounds good.
All right. Anybody else? Let's get some more questions. Maybe something more about home defense or anything like that.
Yeah, so I got a quick one. I'm obviously new, you know that. I'm just curious, like, I'm working on getting some of the doctrines and stuff, but I see what you're saying about the waiting around. It's not FCing isn't something I'm like thinking I need to jump into right away. I want to get more experience, but if you had, an idea or a goal or a guidepost for what you think, like, the minimum or what you should work towards to, like, get to that as a newer player, what do you think I should be looking into? Like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer then, and Iron, I'd love you to answer too, if you don't mind, brother. So my suggestion is, y'all know me, bro, and like some of y'all might remember me before. Like I've pinged defense fleets, like 50-man Ferox fleets. I've done all that stuff, but what I love is small gang, right? And I think the small gang environment is one of the easiest ways to begin training FCs. You get some ships that don't matter with some dudes that don't know what they're doing, and you go out there and blap stuff and get blapped, and you laugh, right? And you have fun. And then people say, thank you, Cortana. Oh, is that your name?
Derizen is what it is.
Derizen. They say, thank you, Derizen. That was so much fun. And you're like, oh, man, I'm sorry you got killed. It's like, oh, fuck that. I don't care about that. And that interaction and experience gets those shakes off of you. And you start, you learn to not worry, not obsess over, oh, no one can die. Oh, I don't want to look bad, or I don't want to do bad. And you begin to realize, like, everybody just wants to have fun. And by doing those roam fleets and getting that instilled in you, you realize, wait a minute, this is just a game, and the ISK is fake, and we need to have fun and make memories, right? So I would say start off with like Raptor fleets, Condor fleets, Kestrel fleets. Find you a Thera, go into frat space and face check a fleet, try to kill some Ischars, and go down in a glorious ball of fire until you start doing better and better, asking questions all along the way.
So I'll add to that. So I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna link this one in Alliance. This is the perfect place. I mean, my answer to that is find something you love to do, a ship you love flying, and make something out of it. Like, I can't express that. Like, Mike's got everybody in the Vagas, dude, and you'll see 20 Vagas running around killing stuff in their space because Mike is very passionate about his Vaga fleets, and he made it like a standard standing fleet U.S. time zone thing happen. Right, Avro Arrows is a good doctrine to start with. You can go through wormholes. You get like 20 dudes in Avro Arrows, bro. You can outrun anything that's chasing you, and you can kill stuff quickly. And then GTFO. It's not expensive. I'm pretty sure the Alliance will cover it if you get enough people. And if they don't, talk to me. I'll pay for it. And then, like, it'll give you the knowledge to get in and get out quickly. Make split decisions, and if you lose and you die, who cares? They're interceptors.
100%. Yeah, everyone here that's thinking about pinging, I guarantee if you ping an Avro Arrows doctrine, you will learn so much, and you'll shake that shit off that's keeping from pinging. I guarantee it. They're super fun and super fast.
I just saw the fleet for Rome, Mike. Are you forming up?
No,
Oh,
teaching.
what?
That's the class. Welcome. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
way long ago. Okay.
yeah, it's really long ago. It was fun. So Cortana, does that kind of answer your question? Because we can dig deeper too now.
No, for sure. I mean, I've been working on getting some of the doctrines, but like you said a couple days ago to me, it's just like split the time, work on the doctrines, then work on some stuff you think is fun. So I've obviously got the beam stuff going on. So like anytime down the line, that would be something I would look towards in terms of like getting some confessors or some retries going. But right now I'm loving tackle. I want to get into interceptors. I want to learn dictors. So like just those things are exciting.
It's very
And
important
I
that
feel
you. It's very important that you get into those things for a lot of reasons. Like run a dictator. You don't need to be good at it, but run it so you understand what a dictator can and cannot do, how fast the bubble goes down, because it's those things that are very important to learn. Get in a Hictor. Hictors are heavy, slow, but they're very useful. And if you're in a fleet that can use them, like
Also
eagles and
impossible to
stuff like
kill.
that, they're not impossible to kill. They can be killed, but they're hard and they're like it's like I don't know if you guys run that fleet a little bit ago, right? We shot a Tech 2 ship Ziggurat, right? It took forever. We didn't even kill him, and we lost a lot of opportunity there, right? If an FC comes into that grid, shoots a Hictor, while you're the other FC is nuking your DPS. By the time you're done doing that Hictor, you probably lost a good chunk of your DPS, which makes you immobile to do damage. There's a lot of factors when you go from small gang to medium gang to large gang.
Hmm.
But if you go into these ships and you fly them in these fleets, because we always need them, whether it's Logi. And Logi's a good one to get to know, because Logi isn't as easy as everybody thinks it is. It's very coordinated. The people that do them end up getting really good at them. I mean, you're switching targets. You have keybinds. It's a big thing. Like you understand how these ships move, where they need to be, positioning Logi behind you or away from the enemy DPS. There's a lot of factors on these stuff, and there's a lot of things like earlier there was a lot of decisions, a lot of factors, a lot of people putting their thought process in, and when you have different ideas, it gets to be a lot. So that's one way to get ahead.
Yeah.
If I can add, running Logi is a great way to become an FC because you have to realize where everybody's at, watch for stragglers, see who's
100%.
broadcasting first.
I don't know how many of you want to be small gang, how many of you want to go up to be like the bigger dudes and do the bigger fleets. It's definitely a journey. It definitely can be a journey. It's a lot of time behind the wheel, but
Yep. And don't let it like he said, picking up those other roles gives you a greater understanding of the fleet as a whole, which will make you a better FC. Like I've flown Logi, I've been +1 scout, fleet tackle and Lachesis, stuff like that. So each thing is, as you experience those things, helps you run a fleet better, right?
100%.
So check this out. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what you've got there is exceptional if you're talking about the career of an FC, as in over months and years.
Yeah,
If you
100%.
dial that back into someone getting in, I think what you were touching on at the beginning, just to make sure the points
Yes.
don't get blurred,
Yes.
is find what you enjoy now and make something out of what you enjoy now and do what
Exactly.
you enjoy and then build on it over time. So you were talking a few moments ago about liking tackle. Fucking start doing, the inties that were linked is perfect because that's your skill base, that's what you know, and that's what you enjoy, and then build on that. You're going to find parts of FCing that you don't like. There's bits of FCing, there's certain fleets, certain doctrines, certain approaches that everyone likes and dislikes. Find what you like, avoid what you dislike, and build up over time. Don't have this view that you need to be able to do everything out at the gate, or looking at the other FCs going, that FC flies that, so therefore I need to do that too.
Yep.
That will put you on a very unpleasant train to burn out, sadly.
Yeah,
Sure,
I do want
no,
y'all
I
to I do want y'all to focus on that. I don't know who all we got in here and what your goals are, but I do want y'all to focus on that first step. Like the first step is getting out there and taking command, right? And like I said, the easiest way to do that is a roam or something fun, but that really is the first step. Like fly cheap, get people out there and have some fun so that you can make all those mistakes and realize, it's not as bad as I thought and it's fucking fun. And people are always waiting for me to do it, and it's going to build you up. You know what I mean? So I want to go over something real quick too, just since we're on this Avro Arrows thing and you specifically, because I want to serve everybody here. So you're on your fleet, right? I want to go over something about like what you do when you first come in system. So here I am. My fleet's coming to the gate. I'm the FC, but I'm also the +1 because that happens sometimes, right? So I have my fleet's going to hold on this gate, K7D. I'm going to jump. Jumping in. Just listen to me for a second. Initial D-scan, Ishtar Praxis, hunting. Now Ishtar is hunting Havens. Now what I'm doing right now is hotkeying. Sorry, my computer's freezing up. I'm hotkeying the Havens. First thing I'm doing, I'm holding cloak. I come in. I get that initial D. I saw that there's potential targets, right? I drop my range. I keep my range high. I drop my angle down low, and I check everything that target's going to be in. Hotkey clicking it. Right? Boom. Ishtar. Warping at 30. Preheat my prop mod. My tackle. I got my hotkey approach, holding it down. I'm gonna be in my overview. When I land, I'm gonna spam approach and turn on my prop mod with a hotkey. He's not here, okay, cool, but his thing is, right? So I'm gonna emulate it. All right, I've landed. Prop mod on. I'm burning towards the target. When it gets in range, oh, there he is. It's on friendly. This one's far off. It'd be a hard catch. Overheat. He's locking me up. Lock him up. Right? Oh shit! I'm about to die. All right, now tackle him. Does that make sense? That was spicy. So that was spicy as shit, y'all. But anyway, so you come in the system, hold cloak, you do that 360 D scan, find your targets. Ishtars are in havens and sanctums, sometimes rally points, right? Vexers are mostly in rally points, sometimes havens. I see Ishtar, drop my range down, hotkey the site, find my target. Best thing to do, I think, is warp either at 30 or 50, preheat my warp disruptor, spam approach on my overview, lock him up, and tackle his ass. That's how you hunt, right? In like a very, very quick, condensed presentation, right? Does that make sense, Cortana?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. It really is that simple. And the more you do it, the better you get. That Ishtar didn't want to them rats tried to say that Ishtar's ass, boy. God dang. He almost got my ass, I'm telling you. But anyway, that's how you do it. So any other questions? Make sure you hit up Ironwork. I think Shadow just came here too. So now you got the damn mill director and you got a seasoned FC. So make sure you ask questions to Shattered and Iron too, guys. Next question, please. Keep feeding them.
Docking request accepted.
Let's start with like very basic hotkeys. What's the bare minimum you recommend in terms of like, I guess, broadcasting targets?
Broadcast the target.
Got to broadcast. I do broadcast online. So I work off of home row. I don't know if you know what home row is, but when you first learn how to type and your hands are on the keyboard at home row position.
Yep.
Okay. So I work off of home row because I've always been a pretty good typer. And I use Z and X as broadcast. So Z is broadcast target, X is broadcast align. So all I got to do is drop my pinky down and broadcast a target. So I'm holding it right now, see? I do X and do align. But you can do it however you want.
Control is my target, X is my broadcast for target. So it's in that general small area. I've done it for like 9 years, so I can't change it now.
I will say though, no matter how you do it, because everyone's going to be different, broadcast target hotkey is super important. It can make your broadcast a lot quicker. But you, as an FC, you always want your broadcast window up so that you ensure that your broadcasts are actually going through. Because the one thing that can start sowing confusion in a fleet is when you're not getting the broadcasts out. because your fleet's gonna be like, where's the fucking broadcast? I know you said it, but I need to see it. And if you in any way you can simplify something for your fleet, it's a win. Your fleet needs to always know exactly what it's doing and when it needs to do it. Period. And that's your job as FC, is to make sure your communication is so clear and it's so concise that the most the the newest player of Eve could perform what you're asking the fleet to do, right?
That's actually a valid point, like, to be honest, because I think a lot of people get frustrated because in their mind they see how things are supposed to go. But there's a valid point Mike just brought up. The newer FCs or the people that are behind. There's always people behind, right? You have to anticipate that dude behind you. It's always going to happen. Just
Yeah.
anticipate it.
And say, I know this is like a meme, an Eve meme now, but I'm a firm believer. Like when I do small games, my guys are real like kind of seasoned, so it's not so much. But like 2 or 3 days ago, I ran a defense fleet, I pinged 6 CFIs and brought standing into the fold. And when I do like op level stuff, I say everything 3 times. Align K70 explants, align K70 explants, align the ANSI. All right, shoot AZ in the CFI, shoot AZ in the CFI, lock up AZ in the CFI. Reps on blah, reps on blah, reps on blah. I say it 3 times. You know, every order I give. I know that's like a long time meme of Eve, but I'm telling you, every fleet, somebody's like, what did he say? So just go ahead and say it 3 times just to start off.
Yeah, and sometimes before you start fighting, just take that deep breath. We all get excited, dude. Even I still get excited every now and then. You just gotta take that deep breath because sometimes when you go too fast, they miss that command and miss that broadcast. And it's gonna be exciting for the first couple times you're seeing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You guys are gonna get excited because you got all these dudes. They're coming behind you and they're listening to you, and it's gonna be an adrenaline rush. But you gotta just practice that breathing thing before you start calling targets. It's gonna be very important.
And another thing about the broadcast too, which this will ebb and flow in your career, right? Because especially when you get up like Shatter's level, like you might be in multiple comms, you got all kinds of shit going on, right? But one thing I do encourage all FCs to do is when you broadcast it and always say the name, always, always. Remember, your job as the FC is to make it so that the most new player can follow the instruction, right? So you hotkey shoot WIX in the Stargate. You say it. You broadcast it and you say it. WIX in the Stargate. Shoot WIX in the Stargate, and you broadcast it, right? Say the broadcast and broadcast it. That'll cut down a lot of confusion too. Go ahead, Shatter. You got something to say?
Nope.
Okay.
Did I?
No, I thought
Sorry.
you keyed up. So yeah, that's cool. Anything else, guys? Let's get some more questions out.
So I know I had the ping thing sent to me, but like if it's fun fleet, that's casual. If it's home defense, is that skirmish?
Home defense is too. I go 2-pronged, but if they're shooting a structure, that in my eyes is a strat op. We need to defend the structure because the timer is not something we want, right?
Yeah,
If they're just roaming our space, that's definitely a skirm.
the only catch to that is you're not going to be able to ping strat up, so you need to find some FC to do that for you, be a Corp FC or a Alliance FC.
Now if the person wants to defend the ANSI, say, and there's no one around, he should still ping a skirmish ping, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, no. Well, the skirmish
Okay.
ping is the highest ping channel you have access to from the ping tool without rolls. So you actually can't send a strat up ping unless you have some kind of tag.
Yeah. And I don't know if maybe Shadow can do this, so I'm not the only one talking, right? But maybe you could quickly go over the new SRP rules because some of these guys might not be aware of how it works.
Yeah, of course. So basically, the way the new SRP system is structured is anyone in the Alliance can SRP anything up to 50 million. So that's just the baseline, and that covers most of your T1 cruiser, T1 destroyer doctrines. Covers the majority of the cost for if you want to run, like, say, a faction destroyer, like an ENI fleet or a Scythe fleet issue fleet. Covers you up until that point. Anything on the wiki that's listed as a fun fleet doctrine, so like your combat scepters, your Feroxes, your hurricanes, those will be covered at standard rates. And you get to the next level, you get into your skirmish doctrines. I don't think we've made the updates to the wiki yet, but basically that's where you get into your hacks. Basically anything else in the Alliance Doctrine hanger list that isn't a battleship or a capital. So that's all your vagabonds, your jackdaws, your eagles, that sort of thing. And this also includes your supplemental doctrines, so your windrunners, your kikimoras, that sort of thing. Minimum, if you want to run those fleets and you're not either a Corp FC or an Alliance FC, you need to have one of those two backseating you. So basically, incomms, kind of holding your hand but letting you call the shots, just so if you do make a really bad mistake and the fleet's about to whelp, they can kind of step in and stop you. Just because that's part of the learning process, right? We don't want to be racking up. We don't want you to be whelping like really expensive doctrines right on day one, right? We want to make sure that someone can help you through those first learning experiences. Otherwise, anyone who's either working as a Corp FC or one of the Alliance FCs can just, it's basically SRP anything they want skirmish down. So anything, again, that isn't a battleship or a capital ship. And typically we're only ever going to see those doctrines being used for like major objectives. So that's when we're forming like large stratops, when we're supporting the coalition. If there's like a coalition timer coming up, we might have forming like Baltecs or TFIs, that sort of thing. Those are situations where we would be looking into forming those doctrines. So typically you're not going to ever be in a position where you need to form a battleship doctrine. And if you do, hopefully there's another FC around that can help you out with that.
And to tag in with that, hold on. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you know this, but the Alliance also will pay you for your first 3 fleets, and it's
Dojo.
The dojo. I'm sorry, the dojo, and it's in ascending order. So it's like I think the first is 100, the next is 200, and the last payment's 300 million. Don't quote me, but you'll get paid for your first 3 fleets. And Jinx, through the dojo, is willing to hand out like corms and caracals and certain ships to get you started and relieve some of that burden of pressure off of you. So like, hey, these are handouts, they're expendable, so no one had to pay for their ship, and I'm getting paid. What? You know what I'm saying? Just helping to make it easier for you to make your first step into being an FC. Uh, One question, maybe Shattered or Iron could cover. It's something that I've struggled with in the past too. Is like the math. Is there any quick math maybe Shadow you could share about how to size up an engagement and understand like well how much logi do I need and how many TPS ships do I need?
Sure, I have some rough numbers I work with, mainly about logi. So you can, if you are forming a particular doctrine like caracals or hurricanes or whatever, well, you got to know the difference between an alpha doctrine and a doctrine that relies more on its sustained DPS. Um, every weapon system will do a particular amount of alpha damage, but there's some weapon systems that excel in that. It's namely your artillery boats, your heavy missile boats. That's when you're more concerned about how much alpha you do in a single strike, from everyone hitting F1 at the same time to that damage all applying on one target. And then that alpha gives you what's known as a critical mass. And that critical mass is the point at which, say you've got 50 hurricanes in your fleet, each one of them is doing 2.5k alpha. 2.5 times 50, that's 125,000 alpha, which means in theory, on paper, if everyone applied perfectly, any ship that had less than 125,000 alpha would get volleyed off the field before damage could apply. For every other doctrine that doesn't rely on alpha damage, you just have to do some quick napkin math on your approximate DPS. You always want to try to hit their damage hole, so it's important to know what damage hole most average ships are. For T1 hulls, generally you want to be using either EM or thermal at all times. For T2 hulls, you want to be using the racial damage type. Sorry, for T1 shield hulls, for T1 armor hulls, you want to be using usually explosive or kinetic. For T2 hulls, each T2 race has a hull, so you want to do research, figure out what that hull is. For example, the biggest notable one is if you're fighting a T2 Kildari hull, be it a Jackdaw, a Harpy, Orthrus, or sorry, a Cerberus, whatever, you always want to be doing EM damage in almost every situation because they will never have high EM resist, just it's the nature of the beast with those ships. As for random numbers, you can, if you want to try to approximate what your enemy's repping power are, for T1 Logi frigates, you usually want to assume about 600 DPS tank per Logi cruiser they have on grid. For Logi frigates, it's about 300 DPS. For T2 Logi frigates, you basically just double those numbers, so it's about 600 DPS per T2 Logi frigate and about 12 to 1500 DPS per Tech 2 Logi frigates. Once you get into T3s, it actually gets much higher because you have very, very good overheat bonuses. So usually you're looking at each T3C Logi cruiser repping anywhere between 18 to 2200, 2300 DPS per cruiser. And then so basically you can just say, okay, Buddy's got 10 Ospreys. That means he's repping roughly 6,000 DPS. So if I don't have at least 6,000 DPS to break their DPS ships, I need to focus on killing the Logi first or bringing something to the field that can tip that fight in my favor, be it Griffins, Bouchers, whatever you decide to pull out of your ass.
And the one thing I'd possibly add on in addition to that is if you're running the napkin maths, and I'd echo the napkin maths for the Logi reps, and you're looking at your own ships and you think, my line ship does on paper 300 DPS, application kicks in. So I generally assume 20 to 25% less than on paper DPS is what's actually going to apply at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you also have to factor in, like, some people are going to be running T1 guns, meta guns. Some people aren't going to have the best application skills, which becomes really important when you start looking at artillery boats and HML platforms, because those are the ones where your application starts to really bite you in the ass if you don't have those skills trained. And just the nature of the beast, this is Brave Collective. We got a lot of low SP pilots. Not everyone's going to have those support skills trained very high.
There you go.
Also missiles. Remember that your missile range is never going to be as good as you think it is on paper.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And that's some. There's two things about that. So if you're leading a missile doctrine and you're fighting at the edge of your missile range, there's two issues with that. The first issue is what he just said about the very skill level of your pilots, right? That means potentially half your pilots might not even be able to hit that range because you have max skills and they don't. The second thing is the missile flight time, right? If you're launching at your max range, especially, the server tick alone could erase some of your DPS just because that next tick plays with your range and the way you're moving to where it actually puts those missiles outside of where they could hit. And then the second aspect of that is that the enemy's maneuvering could also maneuver them in a way that that volley or those missiles don't actually end up applying. So you want to cheat your missile ranges and be sure to be aware of, hey, like my missiles might be firing and be out of gas before they actually hit the target. Does that make sense, Shadow? Did I explain that appropriately?
Yep, there's a lot of different things you got to consider with missile mechanics. First one being skills, obviously. So even if you're on paper, like say tripods, for example, on paper, they can hit up to 76 kilometers. In reality, you're never going to want to really be past about 55 or so kilometers is where you want to be max range at. Now, if you are chasing the enemy, that puts you in a worse situation because, again, the enemy's running away from you, so every second they burn, however fast they're burning is an extra that distance that they are away from your missile's max flight range. If they're chasing you, however, that gives you an advantage because it means they're actually shortening the distance between you and them per server tick based on where your missiles launched from your ship at it. There's a lot. It's kind of hard to explain without like pictures and stuff, but if you Google Eve missile mechanics, and there's a lot of videos documenting the intricacies of this. And actually, there's another there's a guy who I'm trying to think of his name, Yintan, who he's got some old videos on YouTube where he actually was fighting Brave in our current Carrigal Doctrine a few years back because we haven't changed it since then. And he went into very good detail because the FC at the time made a critical mistake where he started chasing them and he was still trying to fight at like 50, 60 kilometers, and suddenly his missiles just stopped applying because they were burning away from him and they were in a rail doctrine, so they were still smacking like with that instant application, but the caracals that were chasing were not doing any DPS because the missiles were actually falling short of their target because they were in a dead burn straight towards the enemy. It's you got to kind of do your own research. It's really hard to describe this stuff on paper, but basically, missiles never go as far as you think they're going to go. They're bound by server ticks, so sometimes there's a percentage of your missiles that will go further than they say on paper, and a percentage will go shorter, That's the really weird one. That's where you go into like missile velocities and things like that. And if you're the position, the speed of your ship and the speed of the enemy ship and who's chasing who also has a big effect on your actual effective range of your missiles.
Thank you for that, Shattered. Is there any other questions right now?
Anybody can ping.
Anybody can ping. It's Brave, baby.
Casual, yeah.
Yeah, ping. So anybody can ping casual, right? And hey, I Shattered. I thought everything now. So even if you're corporate, if you're not a corporate FC, do you still get the 50 mil? Shattered.
Yeah, no. The Fun Fleet SRP is the Fun Fleet Doctrines and the baseline 50 mil SRP payout.
Even
And
for
that's
someone with no tags and no Corp FC or nothing. Okay, cool.
Exactly. So if you want to ping like an ENI doctor or whatever, you can ping up to 50 mil for like your ENI fleet that you want to take out on a roam or whatever. And then you can just, yeah, you're not going to SRP the full value, but that 50 mil basically covers the hull cost, right?
Yeah, so you're getting your 50 mil back. You're able to give, even with nothing, no Corp FC, no tags, no nothing, guys, you're able to give at least 50 mil back, right? So as a new FC, there's plenty of options you could choose where that 50 mil could really help out. You know what I'm saying? And anybody can ping, guys. Anybody can ping.
Can you show the ping tool? Because I'm sure some people probably don't know what it is. Just pop it up on your screen if you can.
To it, you can literally just Google Brave Collective Ping Board or Brave Collective Ping, and it'll show up on Google as Brave Collective Ping Board, right? It'll come up every time. And guys, as you navigate all of these needed sites, always bookmark them. I got an Eve Online folder, bookmark folder for my browser, and I just drop all that stuff in there, right? So here's the ping tool right here. events.bravecollective.com/pings, right? Boom. So for most of you guys, the newer guys with nothing, no tags, corp-wise or alliance-wise, right? You'll be operating over here in ping casual, right? It's blank. Now what I like to do when I started with Brave, I always cheated and came over here and grabbed all that and copied that shit, boom, and then dropped into here, bam, and then filled it out. All right. All right, now watch what happens. Now I hit this, and everybody in the alliance is now annoyed because I pinged some bullshit, right? And that's how it works. So you'll be operating out of pings, and then so if you get, say, you become a Corp FC, or you go through your process, you'll start working out of the skirmish pings, right? But there's all kinds of pings. You can even ping HR, just don't ping on me, bro. But so yeah, it's really simple to use, and it pings everybody. Simple. Now, I don't know what the state of the FC training program is right now, but one of the traditional basic ways it works is this. You do 3 fleets, right? Those first 3 fleets I was talking about, you get a back seat. Make sure you get a back seat to back seat you, right? On your first 3 fleets. And post an AAR in here. Community PvP Fleet Command. So you type that in your search bar. Community PvP Fleet Command. Join that channel. And I don't know where the old ones are. Okay, so like this right here. Flew an ESS fight with 8 guys. We hacked a few. Blah 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 blah. So you'll post in here as a new guy. If it's just your first 3 fleets, not only do you want to post it and then post a BR if you can. BRs are really good. People like Shattered and Allah, they see the BERs, they get impressed, they take notice. That's a good thing for you, right? But also what you want to do is do a critique. Explain what you did, explain some things you feel like you did right, and explain some things you feel like went wrong, right? And post that in here. And someone might reach out to you and say, hey man, I noticed you did this wrong, here's my suggestion or whatever. But this is kind of how we operate right now loosely. Do your first 3 fleets, get a backseat on each one, and post your AARs and community, which AARs after action report, and community PvP Fleet Command, and you can start your journey to getting tags. And honestly, bro, I'm pretty sure it's still this way, but 3 fleets can get you standing tags. If you want the tags, Skirmish tags.
It's
Oh, they
one
can get
fleet
you.
for standing tags.
Yeah,
But
that's
don't
right.
apply to standing FC because standing FC might be going away.
Okay, cool. So 3 fleets and you got skirm tags, and it's a big deal. It's some pressure. You might feel like it is, but take it slow, bro. Take it slow, because I'm telling you one thing. I believe that Shattered and Bray probably feel this way. They would rather have new FCs that are taking it slow than new FCs that are burning out in 3 months, right? So start off having fun, getting used to pinging, taking out those fleets, ask questions all the time, learn, and work your way up. You know what I mean? Does that answer your question about how to ping?
Yeah.
Cool. And you got pirate faction, you got regular faction warfare, you got the nano roams in enemy space, you got filament roams, you got ESS roams, you got everything, bro. There's all kinds of content to do. Any more questions? Okay. If there's no more questions, we'll go ahead, Corsair. About to say something?
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna ask, is anyone available to backseat later tonight?
Backseat later tonight? Yeah, I think I might be able to.
All right, I'll message you later.
What U.S. time? What time zone are you?
I'm US, so I don't know, sometime in the next few hours ish.
Okay, if it's not too late, I'll definitely do it.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, I want to say thank you for coming to our first little FC get together. I want to thank Shattered and Iron for showing up and giving us their extensive wisdom. And we'll look at pinging more of this. Me and Paul, me and Iron, me and Shattered maybe, and anybody else who wants to. And just have a loose Q&A, and we'll probably develop into something more class-like and more direct on certain topics. Feel free to DM me on Slack about any issues or any direct things you specifically want to learn. And if I can't teach it, I'll ask Shattered, I'll ask Iron, I'll ask Malinks. I'm sorry, I can't say your name right. Anybody else who seems well educated, and we'll try to get you the information in the class that you're looking for. So with that, I'll see y'all back in Standing Fleets. Thanks for coming.